In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important decisions that you'll make as a hearing aid shopper, and that is, do you purchase something over the counter like Sennheiser All Day Clear, or should you get hearing aids in a local clinic that are prescription hearing aids? When I first started researching hearing aids prior to starting this channel and Soundly.com, this was one of the most confusing parts of the shopping process for me. I was seeing products online for $99 and then other products that were available for thousands of dollars, and I really couldn't figure out what the differences were. So if you're in a similar situation, stick around, this video should help. If we have not yet met, my name is Blake Cadwell. I'm the co-founder at Soundly.com. We're one of the leading destinations for hearing health research and shopping in the United States. If you like what you see in this video, we'd appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Helps us reach more people. With that, let's dig in. So to begin this conversation, it's helpful to sort of break the hearing health market into two different general buckets. One are over-the-counter devices that are shipped to your home. So if you purchase an over-the-counter hearing aid at Soundly.com, we ship it to you with 2-day free shipping. You get the product, and typically you're the one doing the setup using a smartphone app. Now, if you purchase through Soundly, we'll actually get an audiologist on the phone with you if you'd like, and we can help guide you through that process, but you're pushing the buttons. Now, alternatively, the other category of devices in the market are sold at local clinics, and they're fit by a hearing care professional. So typically, you go into the local clinic, you'll get a booth test, testing your hearing at all different frequencies, and then a professional will program the device to actually match your particular hearing loss. After interacting with thousands of customers, we find that both paths can be really successful, but they're for slightly different people. And in this video, we're going to talk about what some of the differences are so you can figure out if OTC or prescription is the right path for you. So in my mind, there are really three big differences between over-the-counter devices and prescription devices. The first is very personal to you. Over-the-counter hearing aids are designed for those with perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. If you're not sure what your hearing loss level is, you can head over to Soundly.com. We have a free hearing test, and it'll give you a chart which shows the severity of your loss across frequencies. If your chart looks something like this, you could be a good fit for over-the-counter hearing aids. If alternatively, your chart looks more like this, then you'll probably want to head into a local clinic and get prescription devices. The reason for this is that the FDA actually caps the volume output that over-the-counter hearing aids are allowed to put into your ears. So if you have a more severe or profound hearing loss, you'll simply need to go into a clinic to actually match your hearing loss and get enough volume to achieve the clarity that you're likely looking for. Now, of course, even if you have perceived mild to moderate hearing loss, you can still head into a local clinic and get your hearing aids programmed by a professional. But you also have the option to get over-the-counter hearing aids. So that's the first important factor to consider. Know your own hearing loss, know whether you would be in range for OTC or RX. Now, if you're not sure how to read your hearing chart, whether it was taken locally at a clinic or if you took the test at Soundly.com, you can get in touch with our team over at Soundly.com. We can help you read your hearing test and better assess whether you might be a good candidate for OTC or prescription devices. So once you understand your own hearing loss, the next big difference to understand is how the devices are actually programmed. So as I've mentioned a couple times in this video, hearing aids are not one size fits all. It's very likely that your hearing chart is completely unique to you. My hearing chart is a cookie bite. That means it goes down in the middle and back up at the end. It's a configuration that's typical for hereditary hearing loss, which is what I have. And your hearing loss may be slopes, or some folks have reverse sloping, or you may have asymmetry where one ear hears better than the other. The point is, hearing loss is not just a one-size-fits-all solution. There needs to be customization that occurs within the devices to match your prescriptive targets. So with an OTC device, typically, this is happening by you pushing buttons and taking a test through an online smartphone app. So with Sennheiser All Day Clear, you take a quick test, you choose from conversations which one sounds the clearest, and then you determine the volume for each side, and you have some further customizations you can make inside the app. Ultimately, it's a DIY process where you're doing a lot of the work to program your devices to match your own loss. Now, alternatively, prescription hearing aids like Relate or Phonak, Resound, Oticon, several different brands that you get at a local clinic are programmed by a professional. So the way that works is you'll go in, you'll take a booth test. They'll test all the different frequencies that you hear well or don't hear well. They'll chart out a very similar hearing test, and then they'll actually program the devices to match your loss. So you're working with a professional. The nice thing about working with a professional is you can also have a conversation about your lifestyle and some of the toughest listening environments. They may be able to build some special programs just for you if you're trying to hear your grandchildren better or you go to restaurants a lot. In my case, one of the toughest situations that I run into, and I've talked to many audiologists about this, is when I'm spending time with my daughter. She's 5 years old, she's short, she talks and she looks all over the place while she's talking. Sometimes I'll be pushing her on the swing. I want to be able to hear what she's saying. And I can work with an audiologist to program special settings just for those tough edge cases. So that's a benefit that you get to going into a clinic. Ultimately, the trade-off to consider is that with over-the-counter devices, you spend a little bit less. It can be more convenient because the devices are simply shipped to your home, and they can work really well for a lot of folks. But if you know that you'll want more customization, more hand-holding, you want to work on more of those edge cases, you probably want to go into a local clinic, even if you have mild to moderate hearing loss. Certainly, if you have severe or profound, you'll need to head into a local clinic for that professional care. So that's category number 2, is just think about it as, how do these devices get programmed? Is it by me or is it by a local professional? The last major difference to consider as you're thinking about OTC versus prescription pathways is the technology itself. So you might be asking, are OTC hearing aids worse or less advanced than prescription hearing aids? Or does this all simply come down to programming? The answer is a little bit more nuanced than that. If you look at the absolute top of the market, the latest devices that are released with artificial intelligence chips and every bell and whistle, typically those come out into the prescription channel. So I'm holding the Phonak hearing aids. These are one of the state-of-the-art devices that have come out in the last year. They have a built-in AI chip. They have all types of customizations that a professional can make. They're using all kinds of advanced algorithms to suppress background noise and bring forward voices. You can make lots of customizations inside the app. So this is really state-of-the-art. And typically you're not going to see that latest, most breakthrough technology in the over-the-counter set. Now, does that mean that OTC hearing aids are of poor quality? Certainly not. So in this case, Phonak hearing aids are made by the parent company Sonova. Sonova also makes Sennheiser all-day clear hearing aids. So in some senses, these hearing aids are coming off the same factory line. They have a lot of the same design philosophy. They have the same great company backing them up, but the OTC hearing aids are undeniably much simpler. This is actually a trend that we've seen in the market. The top hearing aid manufacturers in the prescription market, like Sonova, which makes Phonak, or GN, which makes Resound, also have over-the-counter devices that are available for consumers. With GN, their Resound product has a sister product called Jabra Enhanced Select, which is available over-the-counter. Again, their OTC hearing aid is capped in volume. It's a little bit simpler, and you're doing more of the programming yourself, but ultimately these are coming from the same place. This trend breaks down once you get to the absolute lowest priced products in the market. So there are products for maybe just a couple of $100s on the market that you might see on TV or on Amazon.com. I've tried a lot of these. Many of them I can't keep in my ears for more than an hour or two. It turns out that designing hearing aids that both match your individual loss and also have the advancements necessary to manage sudden sounds and wind noise and background noise and have all kinds of complex algorithms on board, turns out that's just very hard to do. And so the same leading manufacturers who make prescription devices are also really good at doing that in the OTC category. So when we're talking to folks, we typically steer them towards something like Sennheiser or Jabra because we know it comes from a proven entity. We have a full video on the best OTC hearing aids on the market, which you can check out somewhere up here. The important thing to know is that usually the state-of-the-art tech is going to come into the prescription market first. It'll be managed and programmed by a professional and brought to you through a local clinic, but a simpler version of still really high-quality technology is available if you know which products to purchase. So to recap, I really think about 3 differences when I'm comparing OTC versus prescription devices. The first is your hearing loss. Do you have perceived mild to moderate hearing loss, or do you have severe to profound hearing loss? With mild to moderate, OTC is an option. With severe to profound, you probably want to head into a local clinic. If you're open to a more DIY approach, OTC can be a good option. But if you want more hands-on specialized programming, you probably want to head into a local clinic where you can get all of that done by a local professional. And then finally, as we discussed, when it comes to technology, it's all about picking the right products. You can get the most advanced products typically in the prescription channel, but there are some great OTC devices that we've seen thousands of folks really love and get a ton of benefit from. If you decide to purchase OTC hearing aids, You can go to soundly.com, purchase the product there. We'll ship it to you with free shipping. You get price drop protection. You get a setup call with our audiology team if you'd like it, and you get hassle-free returns. If alternatively you want to work with a local clinic, you can also head over to soundly.com for that. We'll help you find a local clinic which offers transparent, clear pricing, 60-day returns, and you'll still have access to our team for ongoing service and questions that might come up over time. I hope you found this video informative. These are some of the big questions that it took me a long time to answer as I was shopping for hearing aids. If you have more questions, you can head over to soundly.com, or you can always text or call us at 1-833-SOUNDLY. Talking to the folks who are in the midst of their decision-making process is one of the favorite parts of our job. We look forward to talking to you, and good luck with your research.